Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Brooke Be Watchin'. I'm your host Brooke, and today we are reviewing the newly released movie Weapons. Weapons is a horror/mystery film that was released August 8th, 2025, and is written/directed by Zach Cregger under Warner Brothers. Zach Cregger also wrote and directed Barbarian in 2022 and produced Companion this year in 2025. Now, when it comes to my expectations and the tone I should be expecting for a movie, I lean on the trailer of a movie pretty heavy. The trailer mentions that this is a true story about how on an ordinary day of school, instead of having a full classroom, one teacher walked into her classroom and found herself looking at only one child. The reason why there is only one child in the classroom is because the night before at 2:17 in the morning, all of the children got out of bed, walked down the steps, and into the darkness to never return back home. The trailer then shows an angry parent at an assembly who wonders why only this teacher had this happen to her. The trailer then shows the teacher walking back into the classroom, which is noticeably different from earlier, and all of the desks are filled with students with their heads down. The head of the only boy who showed up slowly rises up and appears ghoulish and frightening. Then there are rapid-fire cutscenes featuring all of the key important players and clues that happen in the movie. Now, after watching the movie, I can honestly say that any questions that I thought of during the trailer were answered. Now, that doesn't mean that all of my questions that I have were answered, but for the most part, the movie explains how what happened happens, but to me, not truly why what happens. This review will mention spoilers, but only to discuss these unanswered questions and to provide clarity on how we got to the questions and some of the answers. This movie does a fantastic job of showing multi-perspectivity, which is when a movie shows what leads up to one event through the perspective of multiple characters. Now, y'all, I had to look that up, so don't give me too much credit. Every character in the movie was integral to the main storyline, and I really appreciated the level of suspense in this movie. Every time I thought that there was a resolution, the movie would then cut to the next character, and I was just totally not expecting that. This provided a layer of context and also made me not want to look away for a single second. I also like the way that the main character, who is Justine Gandy, isn't meant to be a likable person. Justine is rough, troubled, has a drinking problem, loves to make bad decisions, but is complicated in the way that she chooses to show love. It is revealed in the film that she was let go from her last teaching job, not only for an inappropriate relationship with another coworker, but due to crossing boundaries with her students. I believe the principal, Andrew Marcus, refers to Justine as someone who would take the students home after school hours and would console upset students by giving them hugs. This history is used as a weapon against Justine by seemingly everyone in town and is specifically brought up by an angry parent, Archer Graff, who is the father of Matthew, during a meeting at the school. Ironically, overstepping boundaries is the main motivator in so many characters in this movie. Justine's love interest, Paul, who is a cop, and also someone else's, Donna, oversteps boundaries by sleeping with Justine, by drinking even though he is supposed to be sober, and by beating up a drug-riddled man named James. Through the stubborn discipline shown from Justine to watch every move of the only boy left in her classroom, and through the heartbroken dedication of Archer to find his son, these two characters are set on a similar path. As the movie cuts to every character's perspective, it is fascinating to see how one single conversation with another character sets the next event in motion. Since Justine had been following every move of the remaining boy Alex, she grew increasingly concerned when she saw the house where he lived. The windows are covered with newspaper and are in a state of disarray. When Justine strong-armed Principal Marcus into contacting the remaining boys' parents, this set into motion Principal Marcus meeting the aunt of Alex. Through the perspective of Alex, you meet Gladys, who is found to be someone who can, through ritual, harness the youth of someone or someone's through body control. After controlling Alex's mom and dad through the ritual, Gladys reveals that this isn't enough youth, to keep her appearing young. By showing Alex that Gladys can make his parents hurt himself, the example that they use is literally having the parents fork themselves to death right in front of Alex. He is then made to collect an item from all of his classmates the next day at school. Through the ritual of Gladys cutting her hand with a switch from a tree, and somehow holding all of the items from the students, she is able to mind control all of the students in Alex's classroom. It is then revealed that is why all of the children walked away from her homes. So simply put, Justine follows Alex home in her car, Gladys sees her watching, waits until she's passed out drunk, and then cuts some of her hair. Archer watches her and watches doorbell camera footage to find the direction that his son ran off to. Principal Marcus meets Gladys after demanding to meet with Alex's parents. Gladys then intrudes on his home and then controls him to kill his husband, which is like, dude, the husband didn't have to go like that. Like, it was just like, it was so cute to see them. And then, anyways, by Gladys wrapping the cut hair around the switch used in the ritual, Principal Marcus then hunts down Justine. Archer sees Justine being attacked by Principal Marcus and then fights him off until all of a sudden he's hit by a car. Through showing Justine a map, Archer learns that Alex's house is the direction that both his son and another child ran to. Meanwhile, Paul, the cop, is also at Alex's house because after chasing James for the second time, James, the man that he was chasing earlier who was experiencing addiction, revealed that the house he broke into had children standing in the basement acting weird. After driving to Alex's house, seeing the cop car of Paul's, Justine and Archer go inside, a lot of fighting ensues, and Alex saves the day in the end. While narrowly being killed by his parents, Alex was able to find a piece of Gladys's hair and the original stick that bound the students. Alex then broke the stick, which caused all the children to kill Gladys, which in the movie was absolutely crazy. As soon as he snapped it, all the kids froze. And then they went after her. And when I tell you, they were busting through windows. They burst through the door. There was just little Kool-Aid man children just bursting through the scene everywhere. It was crazy. But that also broke her mind control over them. It really is so tragic because I believe that Alex's pain is really lost in this movie. Alex went from being bullied by his classmates to being then bullied by his supposed aunt. Alex had to be the one to feed all of his parents and all the classmates while going to school and not letting anyone onto the truth about what is going on inside of his home. This boy literally had to carry soup back and forth for days on end. If I was the store clerk, I would have been like, little boy, why are you in here every 2 days? Why are you always buying 10 cans of soup? And where are you getting this money from? Anyways, the strength that Alex portrayed in the movie is drowned out by the silence and secrets a lot of children have to keep inside of their homes. It seems like an allegory to represent all of the terrible things that some children experience growing up and what they see inside of their homes. It is even more tragic when it is revealed those left alive after the ritual performed by Gladys barely are existing, and only some of the children to this day are finally speaking. How was Gladys able to perform a spell so strong that its effects are able to linger on for years? I wish Gladys was provided a backstory, because instead she shows up randomly looking like who did it and what for. It is blatantly obvious that Gladys is the villain in this story, from her terrible lipstick when she wears it to the wisp of hair that she sometimes shows, with all of the aesthetics of the doll Cynthia without any of the charm. It is very obvious that the real villain of the movie Weapons is Gladys's hair and those 3 micro braids. Now, granted, I could not find a picture of these micro braids on the internet, so of course I had to make y'all one. Aww, there she is. But on a serious note, I definitely recommend watching this movie on the biggest screen that your local movie theater provides. My wife and I watched this movie through XD, and there were a lot of moments that made me grab her arm and watch with one eye open. The movie isn't really too heavy. There are heavy moments, but there are also moments of levity where the characters really almost look into themselves and be like, are you kidding me? I can't believe this is happening. But I wanted to tell you all, thank you so much for joining me for the premiere episode. I wanted to watch this movie primarily because I have been told that this movie had been put on the same pedestal as the movie Sinners. I think there is a similarity in these two movies, but I'm going to be explaining that similarity in the next movie review, which will be Sinners. So stay tuned, hit that button to subscribe, and remember 3 things always. Be kind, be careful, and always be yourself. Good night, folks.